the first and the one that will hit you first is arguments and quarrels with your fiancé, with your mother-in-law, with your with almost welcome back to yet another video. Today, allow me to pay tribute to our departed president, Baba Pombe Magufuli. Rest in peace, Baba. You fought a good fight. You did your very best, and your legacy lives on. Rest in peace. Poleni sana watu wetu wa Tanzania, mandugu na madada zetu wa Tanzania. Poleni sana. Rest in peace, Baba Pombe Magufuli. Rest with the angels. Yeah, so that's why I'm wearing this t-shirt today, celebrating East Africa. Because when one party is hurting, we are all hurting. It's all East Africa. So today, let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of scientific weddings. This is what we're experiencing. This is the in thing now, scientific weddings. Since March last year, we're having scientific weddings. So at least now the measures have been relaxed and people are getting at least bigger numbers, but it's still the advantages of scientific weddings. Of course, it is less costly. You save on the money, you save on your pockets, because you're inviting few people. Imagine hosting 10 people. 10. You're buying food for 10 people. That is vis-a-vis someone who had planned to invite 400 guests. Those budgets are totally different. So you're saving money. Literally, you're saving money. So it's affordable. So for those people who are putting excuses on people's daughters that you don't have money, this is your opportunity. Hey, go and marry people's daughters. It is now affordable. That excuse of money no longer holds, because you are feeding 10 people. Surely you can feed 10 people. Yes. So it's very affordable on the pocket for the couples, and I love it because marriages had become a display of financial prowess. Like, people would go overboard to do a very expensive wedding. They would even get loans. That thing hurts. Like, you start your marriage life on loans, on debts. Guys, let's get serious. Like, it had become too much. It had become like a competition. Like, my cousin did this, I have to top that. My friend did this, I have to do better. It had become just something else. It was just all about show off, showbiz, the number of cars, the number of what. You people, we had lost it. So I'm actually glad. We're talking of advantages. I'm glad that we have the scientific events, because people get to save and you get to do something you can afford. You're not stretching your pockets too much. You're not going into debts and loans and all those kinds of things. You're just doing what you can comfortably afford. And if you're lucky and your guests contribute towards the budget, you can even have surplus to go for honeymoon. You can have surplus to start your life together. You can have extra money on you than going into debts when you're starting your marriages. Please, let's avoid that. I'm just advising every couple out there, do what is within your financial powers. Don't go into loans, don't go into debts. Don't struggle to, like, you're going into loans to feed people. Does that even make sense? No, it's not worth it. So let's be mindful about our expenditure. If you can, if you have the finances, by all means, do it. Do it if you can. If you cannot, please be realistic with your pocket. Just be realistic with your pocket. Don't outstretch yourself. Because at the end of the day, these people will go back to their homes. You remain the two of you. and you're starting life together, you do not want to start on dates. Number two is that you have time to customize and organize special things for your big day. We have brides or grooms or couples that are very artistic in nature or just want to customize a few things. So when you're having a small uh, affair, a small event, it's easy. It's easy to customize. For example, if you want to customize your invitation cards, it's possible. You can customize. You can make. Imagine you're inviting 10 to 20 people. You can customize those cards without breaking yourself. If you want to customize some decor items, maybe place some lamps, some wooden rustic lamps on the table. There are things you can DIY, yeah, by yourself and make your event have a feel or a touch of you. So vis-a-vis when you have a large number of guests, you cannot DIY some things because you'll end up breaking yourself, because it will take a lot of time and a lot of effort to pull out things which you would easily do with a low guest count. The other thing, the other advantage about scientific weddings is that they are intimate. They are intimate. These few people that you've invited are people you are very close to. They're like the immediate people. Like when you think about it, they're the immediate friends, very close friends, very close family members, very close workmates. They're like the intimate group. So your wedding or your event becomes a very intimate affair, because imagine it's like a dinner setting, because you're not going to get a full blown hall to just host 15 people. It's like a dinner setting. So you're able to actually see everyone, you're able to talk to everyone, you're able to, it's so intimate. And I think I saw this on my sister's friend, uh, Kuchala, because in Kenya we don't do Kwanjulas, we do Kuchala and then straight to the church. So during the Kuchala of Barbara Bakita, don't come for me, but during that Kuchala for Barbara, they had just one tent of the invited guests, few people, close family and friends, and everyone stood up to say something, a word of encouragement, something about the groom, something about the bride. It was so intimate. I loved it because everyone had something different to say, something different to share about the couple, about their relationship, about their journey. It was so intimate and I loved it. You can be able to do that when you have small numbers. You can have those intimate moments. Vis-a-vis if you have a big crowd, that's when we have the program and you have to know who is speaking after who is the representative of friends, who is the representative of siblings, who is the representative. Like you have to pick one person because not everyone can speak. Okay, then also still on the intimate side, you can do specialized menus for your few close invited guests. You can do specialized a la carte menus. So you can just you can even ask them like, what would you like to eat, and they just place their orders, and the bill is manageable. But when you have a big crowd, buffet. You go buffet style, so you run the danger of people who don't eat meat, vegetarians, or there's something in particular someone doesn't eat that is on the buffet. So such people are not catered for in bigger settings, but in smaller settings, you can have an a la carte menu and people just order whatever it is that they like to eat. Other very nice advantage about certificate is that you can do a destination wedding. You can do a destination wedding because you have few people. You can just choose a place maybe you've always dreamt of going, maybe Dubai or which island or wherever. just a special place. And you tell your guests, this is where our event will be taking place. And they'll be able to come. If the cost is on you or it's on them, it is still affordable and manageable. So destination weddings are very possible when you have a small number of guests, a limited number of guests, which is a scientific event. When you have a big number, you can't do a destination wedding because some people might not be able to make it, or if they make it, then the coordination of who is traveling, who is arriving at what time, where are they sleeping, what car will bring them to the venue and take them back, and there's a lot to think about when you're dealing with a bigger number of people. Destination weddings is a no if you're dealing with a big number of people. If you have a small guest list and you love destination weddings, consider it. It is possible. And it will be so intimate, so unique. So the disadvantages of scientific events, the first and the one that will hit you first is arguments and quarrels with your fiancé, with your mother-in-law, with your with almost everyone, because imagine you have to choose 10 people. Okay, at least the rules have been relaxed. Let's say you're having, right now people are having events of 150 people. So between you and your fiance, you have to have 100 people. That means you're choosing 50 guests from your side, or 30 to 50 guests from your side. That is tricky. Especially for people from extended families, it is tricky because some people, 30 already is the number of their family people. They are 30 already. So you bump heads a lot with your parents, especially because parents have those people they want to invite. They tell you this person was very essential in your upbringing, in your education. This person helped us a lot. You have to invite this person. Then they have their groups, maybe choir members, maybe mothers union, maybe what, and they really, really want to invite these people. And yet you're working with a strict number guest list. Coming up with that guest list will be the hardest thing for you when you're dealing with the scientific events, because you'll hurt people's feelings, whether you like it or not. You will hurt people's feelings. Because people will be like, hey, you did not even invite me for your wedding. And I thought we are close. Bambi. For such people, this is the reply you should give them. Just tell them, it is not me. It is not me. I would have really loved to invite you, but it is not me. It is the government. Those are the rules they have put in place. So don't blame me. It is the government. We are just following the government guidelines. Please understand. Just say that, because there's no excuse you can give, because you're working with a tight guest list. So you'll bump heads a lot with your parents, you'll bump heads a lot with your fiance, you'll bump heads a lot with the siblings. There are people who get hurt that you didn't invite them for your wedding, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to be realistic. You have to look at people who have been there for you, who are very close to you, who are very, very essential to your marriage, and invite only those. If you have very big families, maybe you need to postpone and wait for these rules to be relaxed more so that you can. The disadvantage I see is that scientific events are kind of like dinner settings. They are not very celebratory or party like. You know how wedding receptions are like full of dancing and celebrating and it's so party like. But when you're having a scientific event, people are seated, people are having their meals. It is very rare to see people getting up and dancing, like 10 people getting up and dancing. It is rare. Those who do it, good for you, but it's very rare. People just prefer to sit and maybe chat, have those intimate talks and laughs. But getting people to the dance floor and getting people to loosen up and just celebrate and have that whole mood, is very hard, but it's very easy when you're doing a big event. So it's a disadvantage for scientific events. You don't really get that feel of a celebratory event, of you know of a party kind of. So run a risk of cutting a family tradition or cultural tradition, uh, especially for cultures that promote big weddings, let's say like the Indians, the is it Persians? Am I saying it correct? Okay, there are those Arab like cultures which believe strictly on big events, like their weddings are big big events. So if you do a scientific wedding, it's like you're cutting a culture, a tradition in your tribe, or yeah, no, you're cutting. So people will not be very happy with it, because it will be like you're going against the tide, you're going against the norm, and you're not doing things different. It takes time for people to adjust. You might end up having regrets. It's human and it's normal to feel that way. You might be there, then you see someone's wedding later on, and you're like, I wish maybe I'd waited and done my wedding also like that, maybe big like that. Like, you might have those regrets because of different things that you had to do to comply to these new guidelines, the new standards. Um, for example, maybe having a convoy. Maybe you wanted a motorcade of, the Range Rovers and, all the fleets of cars. But because of the guidelines, you had one or two cars only. So you look at a wedding with that kind of arrangement and you're like, You might also regret not inviting certain people in case it was not within your control, but just as a human being, you feel bad when people start, making you feel a certain way about not inviting them. And you have those regrets, like, oh, if only I had some laxity, I could have invited so and so, I could have invited so and so. So there are those regrets you'll have afterwards, and it's normal and it's fine. Because when you look at the guidelines for holding a scientific event, first of all, you have to get permission from the RDC, Resident District Commissioner. A letter, you write a letter to the RDC and they stamp on it and say it is okay for you to have this event. And in that letter, you have uh, to 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 state the number of guests that you're going to hold. Some RDCs actually require you to also state the number of cars that you're going to have, and the drivers themselves who will be driving those cars. Eh, those rules were very, very strict at the beginning when the scientific events had just been introduced. Right now, they're a bit relaxed, but at the beginning, you had to register the number of cars that you're going to use, the people who are going to drive those cars, and you're not allowed to change those people. Not that on the day you've gotten another driver, no, you will have to register that driver again. Hey, so there was a lot of restrictions, and once you get that permission, you have to really follow everything on that letter that you agreed with the RDC, so that you don't get into problems in the law on your big day. So if you really, really, really want a big affair, I would advise you hold on. You hold on, the measures are being relaxed slowly by slowly, you'll be able to do exactly what you want. The disadvantage is that, as Africans, we are not so used to these scientific events, and scientific events are like civil marriages in a way, and people are not so used to civil marriages. They look at it as if like you're being mean, like you mean you just went to the fiance to a court and you signed, like you didn't invite people to see that. Like they see it like you're being mean, like you just want to do things alone, the two of you, or with just few people. So there's a perception they have, and this has not really been embraced so much, this scientific events thing. So you get a lot of hurdles in carrying out and executing a scientific event successfully. The other thing, on a lighter note, on disadvantages, is that you might not get many gifts. For some people, some of us love gifts. If you have very few people, you might not get as many gifts as you would get when you have a bigger guest list. But sometimes you might get like 5 sets of glasses, 5 of them. So it's just on the lighter side. It's not that serious, but you get, of course, fewer gifts. They might be more more meaningful, more, because these are people who know you very well. So I'm thinking they would really bring gifts that mean something to you. But yeah, on a lighter note, you not get as many gifts as you would get when you're inviting many people. Anyway, that is it for today. Those are the things I would share about scientific events, the advantages and disadvantages of holding a scientific event. All that you need to know about it is that. So thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe. Please subscribe. Let us hit 200 subs. We are now at 140. Subscribe so that we reach 200 and 1,000 and 5,000 and 1 million. Support your own. You support your own. So don't forget to like, comment. If you've had a scientific event, share. Tell us how it was, or if you've attended a scientific event, tell us how it was. Share with people out here, because people still want to get married and they need to know this kind of information. So thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you for watching up to the very end. I love you so much. I treasure you all. Have a good week.